All right. So for the very first time, when you launch your VS Code code editor, you see an interface like this. The next thing you do, remember you've just created a folder in your file manager. The next thing you do is you go to the menu at the top, look for file, click on it, and select open folder. When you click on open folder, it will take you to your file manager once again. And then you go to the place where you have created that folder. You click on the folder and open that folder in your VS Code. The moment you open that folder, you are going to see an interface that looks like what is showing right on your screen now. You would see the folder. Remember, yours might be on L file. It looks like someone was trying to join the call. Okay, Emmanuel. Okay, please. Yeah, Emmanuel, please. You have a question? Please quickly ask. Okay. You've not seen the file, right? The file menu. Okay. When you look at the top of your screen. Look at the top of the. You would see some menus there. What are the menus you can see? All right, perfect. So the file, that particular file, is what you click. When you click on it, have you created your folder already? All right, click on file and click on open folder. Then it will take you to your file manager. Then you can now go to your file manager, select that folder you created, and then open it. You should have something like this. Are you there now? So this is the procedure. The first thing you do for any organization you are building a website for, the first thing you do is create a folder for them. All right. By the time you begin to learn some advanced concepts, you would learn some other ways, right? But for this first step, the first thing you do, let's say a company like, let me look for a start, maybe Transcorp or Zenith Bank or something, say, okay, please build a website for us. The first thing you do is you go to your file manager, create a folder for them, name it their name, come to your VS Code, open that folder, and the next thing you do is you start creating your file. The very first file, when you hover on the folder name, you can create your HTML file. The next file we'll click on this file again, and then we create our CSS file. All CSS files end with .css, and then you can give it the file any name you want. So for me, I'm going to use style.css. So that's style.css, and I press enter. So I've created my HTML file, my CSS file, and then the third file I want to create is my JavaScript file. So I'll click on the file one more time, and I'll create a file. Mind you, the JavaScript file must end with .js. So I'll give it any name, but it must end with .js. So I'll name it script.js, and I'll press enter. So
Yes, we are. Yes.
okay, no, that's absolutely fine. um, immediately after this first class, I will share. I believe that we already have the understanding. I will share a link to. I will upload the video of this class, and I will also share a link to a video you can also watch to solidify your knowledge on these concepts. I believe that will be much better for every one of us. However, let's also maximize the group very well. If you, by the time you are by the time you are trying to create your own files and you're having issues, please don't hesitate to quickly post on the group that this is the issue you're having. And how do you ask tech questions? When you want to ask questions in the tech industry, make sure that you are not just typing text. screenshot or snap the issue you are having, and then explain it in detail so that we can easily know the problem. Let's continue quickly. Now, when you create, don't worry, we are just almost done. We are creating just a basic HTML markup language. So we have created our index.html file, our script.js file, and our style.css.
Sorry, sir. I don't know if it's from my end. The screen is black now. The screen is sharing.
Okay, I think it's your network. Is it the same for everybody? Okay, I think it's your network. So we want to begin writing an HTML code now. So we click on our index.html file. You see that you have a blank file, a blank editor, but you have line 1. You just have line 1. So from what we learned in class, please, there's somebody who is not muted. Please help us mute so that others can hear. Now, thank you. Thank you. So Edwin, just hold on. Let's quickly write. Edwin, what's the issue? Just tell me, ask me the question quickly so that we can quickly wrap up. No problem. Okay, after opening the folder in VS Code. So you just take your mouse and hover on the name of that folder. You will see the folder showing here like this. So once you hover on the name of the folder, you see these 4 icons come out. Then you click on the first icon, is the new file, to create new file. You click on that to create your file. When you click on it, to show something like this where you can write the name of your file. And once you write the name, make sure you end it with .html, and then you press enter. It will activate. So now I'll click on my index.html. I'm seeing my blank file with line 1. The first thing I will do is, from our class, we remember that we said the first thing is your what? Your doc type declaration. And your doc type declaration, you first of all write your first angle bracket, and then you do what? You write your exclamation mark, and then you write your doc type in capital letter, which tells the browser that you are doing right, the document type is HTML5. So doc type H, your HTML is in small letters, doc type HTML, and then you close with your angle brackets. That's your first line. That is your first line of your HTML code. After you write the doc type declaration, the next line is the HTML root element, And so you open your anchor tag again, you write HTML, and then you close. So the moment there's something VS Code has that is called the Emmet abbreviation. The Emmet abbreviation, what it does is that the moment you start typing something, it will suggest the completion of it for you. Alright, so that is why you see the closing tag for this HTML has also been added for me by my VS Code. So what happened was that the moment I started typing HTML and I closed it wrote the closing tag for me. So what I would do is that my cursor is in the middle of the opening tag and the closing tag. What I would do is I will press enter to go down. I press enter. So I've gone down now. The next thing is, inside of my HTML opening tag, I will write an attribute, and that attribute will specify the language of my HTML document. Remember that there are some countries where they don't speak English, they speak French. So if they speak French, that means they write their code in French. Alright, so we are going to specify that the language of this HTML is English. So we are going to write lang equal to full column, then so you open I say full column, double quotes. You open double quotes twice, and then inside of it you write en. En actually means the language is what? English. I don't know if that makes sense now. So after you do that, when we come inside of our HTML element, the next thing we will now write is our head and our what? Body. So remember that the head takes your configurations, your settings, while the body takes the visible part of your web page. So I will go ahead and write my angle bracket, I write head and I close it. Of course, VS Code will complete it for me. I press enter. Then after the closing tag of my head, I will now write also my body tag. I close it, I have my body. So basically we have a basic structure of an HTML page. Then inside of your head section, tomorrow we are actually going to look deeply into the head section of your HTML page, and that is where you do a lot of everything that has to do about your SEO optimization, search engine optimization. It goes inside of your head section. So, but the first thing we want to put in our head section now is our title element. And what is your title element? You are going to see it. Your title element is the title of your web page, and that is what will be displayed in the browser tab, not in the web page, in the browser tab. So I'll write my title element. It closes it for me, and inside of the title element, I will write my first website. Having done that, my first website. So you can see that when I is a child of the head element. So that's why you see this space here. That means this one is a child of this one, because HTML goes in parent-child structure. So you have parent-child, and the child can also have children, and the children of the child can also have their own children. All right. So this is the child of this head element. All right. And then in the body section, I'm just going to write, maybe I will use my heading element. You have a question? Okay. Okay. I'll just go back to the way it was. It was like this, right? And then what I did was that I wrote it manually like this. Then I right click on my mouse. So the context menu comes out. You're going to see format documents. You're going to see format document. When you click on format document, on yours, it might bring an option for you to say use HTML code formatter. Is that what is showing on yours? And it arranged. Okay, all right, that's perfect. So once, in case you are for others, for the sake of others, in case you use format document and it shows you an option to say use HTML code formatter, just select it and it will format for you. It just asks you that once. So when I click on format document, what it does is that it helps me arrange my document and spaces it appropriately for me. Now I have my title as a child of my head element. I also now need to write something in my body. Remember we talked about sorry about my my autopilot. So remember we talked about the heading element, and H6 is the smallest. So let's try to use that. So I'm going to write H1. Now there's a shortcut in VS Code. If you want to write, VS Code has emmet abbreviation. So instead of writing the angle bracket, you can just easily write the tag name, which is H1, and then you press enter, or you press your tab key. It will open it for you like this. You press enter or you press your tab key. So this is H1. I'm going to write a content inside of it, heading 1. I might also want to write H2, and I press enter or I press tab, and I'm going to write heading 2. I might also write H3, and I'm going to write heading 3. I might also write H4, and I'm going to write heading 4 as a content. Just like that. I might also write H5, let's just complete it, and I'm going to write heading 5. I might also write H6, and I'm going to write heading 6. So we have our H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6, which are the 6 major heading elements in your HTML page. Congratulations, you have already started writing HTML. Okay, we also looked at the paragraph element, and we will try to round up because it's already 9 p.m. We looked at the paragraph element. The paragraph element just contains some text. So I'm just going to use the paragraph element, which is the P. So when I write P, I press enter. I might not write this is a paragraph. It says something. So a paragraph is just basically the same as a paragraph in your normal writing. We're going to stop here for today because in other classes we will look at the image element and the anchor tag element. Now, we have successfully written a basic HTML element, a basic HTML website. But what we want to do now is we want to preview what this web page contains in the browser. In the course of this class, I'm going to show you some extensions that will enable you to do this better. However, for the scope of this first class, you're going to go back now. Remember that I taught you that the HTML file is the presentation file. So because the HTML file is the presentation file, you will now go back to your file manager and you will see the files you have created inside of it, and then you will click on the HTML file to view it in the browser. So right now, I'll go to my file manager and I'll click to go inside of this folder I created, and you can see I have the files I've created: circle.html, index.html, script.js, style.css. In your case, your HTML files might have a thumbnail of your Google Chrome browser or your Edge browser, as the case may be. So what I'll do now is I'll just right click and open with Google Chrome. Once I click Google Chrome, this is what we have been able to create. Heading 1, the H1 we used came out as a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. And this is the paragraph we wrote. So this is how you write a text to this is how you create a basic HTML page, and you can see it displayed on your browser. If I zoom out, you're going to see how that looks. You can confirm from here that H1 is the largest heading and H6 is the smallest heading, and P helps you just write some text to your web page. This is where we are going to stop for this class. We're going to continue in our next class on Monday evening, where we are going to begin to look at some more HTML elements and how to use them. So, before we round up for today, I want to take some questions and then we'll round up. So let me confirm. Okay. Okay, go. Yeah, go ahead, Wisdom.
Let's see after writing
Yeah.
it automatically.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Apparently, that's a perfect question because I skipped that. I didn't say that. At this stage of your learning, you have to save. You have to use your Control S to save your HTML file after you write it. And then when you go to your browser, you also reload your browser tab to be able to see the changes that you have made. But as the class goes on, I will introduce some extensions to you that will save you the time of saving your HTML file and enable you to It will help you auto save your work and also auto reload your browser so that by the time you are writing your code, it is changing automatically on your browser. But for now, as you write, Control S to save, and then when you go to your browser, you reload your browser, you reload that browser tab, or you simply use Control R on your keyboard. I hope that answers your question, Wisdom. Okay, let me confirm. For those that are following us on their laptops, have you been able to write to the browser? Please confirm with me.
No, for me, I've not.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yes, for me, I have not been able to do that. Because of the time I'm doing class, so as I said, went and then it's
Okay. Would try to upload the recorded. I actually thought about that, and that's why I tried to see how I could record the class. I will try to upload it and share so that we can follow that before Monday. Everyone should be on track at the same point. So, how about Edwin? Edwin, were you able to get to where we are? Okay. The JavaScript, rather. HTML. Okay. Basically, new file icon. When you click on it, it will open this interval. You can write, for instance, circle.css. See that? And you do the same thing for the JavaScript as well. Yes, .js. Yeah. So does anyone also have another question? Okay, yeah, Philip, please quickly ask so that we can run up the class. Yes, Philip, you're raising your hand. Okay, Philip has video. I'll also share another video that will enable you move faster with your learning pace for HTML. Do we have any more questions for tonight? Let me confirm. Ikenna, were you able to get to where we were? John Linus, a favor.
Sir, sorry, I the system I'm using here is really running. I don't have the so I just downloaded while I was downloading. You are already ahead of me, but
Oh,
I followed the light again and we can do something before Monday.
okay.
Appreciate it if you have.
Okay, so we'll try to share the class, the video, so you can follow it. All right. Once again, I believe that the class is quite, most importantly, informative. So I would encourage every one of us not to actually miss any of the class. Please just make out time. This is just more like a 6-week investment in your tech journey, and I want to assure you that it's going to be worth it. Some time ago, I started to learn this, and and I started to build on it, and you see that today I'm able to understand it much better. So please, let's take these 6 weeks as a dedicated 6 weeks. Let's not miss any class. The way we are today in this class, let all of us be together and learn this thing together and grow and do projects together. Please feel free to communicate with yourselves on the group and share knowledge, share ideas. In case somebody asks a question and I am probably not available to answer at the moment, if you have the answer to it, just go ahead and answer, and so that everybody can move at the same pace. Thank you so much, and please do have a lovely night rest and good night.